Here are 8 tips for solo cruisers. Hey there, cruise enthusiasts. I'm Professor Melissa, and I love to cruise. In this video, I'm going to share with you my top tips specifically for solo cruisers. Now, before we get started, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click that little bell icon so you never miss out on my latest cruise tips and travel adventures. Now, let's jump right in. Whether you're a seasoned solo traveler or considering your first solo trip, and that may be a cruise, these tips will help you make the most of your experience. For the longest time, I was super nervous about doing any type of solo travel. Fortunately, I got over that fear, and in the past couple of years, I've taken tons of solo trips, both on land and by cruise ship. I'll tell you, cruising is the best way to dip your toe into the solo trip waters. If you're hesitant about it, has so many benefits for solo cruisers. You're spending several days on a kind of contained environment with thousands of other people, so you start to see the same people over and over again, which makes it a little bit easier to make friends and to have that familiarity. In my opinion, it's also a much safer way to travel. Now that I've sailed solo many times, I can tell you I absolutely love it. You get to do what you want, when you want, and how you want. It's pretty awesome. So it's a safe, convenient, and enjoyable way to see multiple destinations without the hassle of having to pack and unpack and fly and drive and get to each stop. Plus, cruise ships are packed with activities, dining options, and entertainment, which again makes it super easy to meet people or just enjoy your own company. And I cannot stress how awesome it is not having to answer or be accountable or consider anyone else's needs but your own. Now first, let's clear something up. Cruising solo doesn't necessarily mean you're single. Cruising single is different than cruising solo. You can cruise solo but not be single, and you can cruise single but not be solo. In this video, we're gonna talk about cruising solo, simply meaning that you're traveling alone without other people. And that could be your choice for a variety of reasons. Maybe you're in a relationship or a marriage, but your partner doesn't like to travel, or you just want some alone time, or you have different interests. Or in my case, I cruise monthly and my friends and family tapped out of money and PTO, so I had to go on my own. Whatever the reason, solo cruising is all about enjoying the freedom and that flexibility of traveling, but on your own terms. So let's get into my tips. The first tip, make sure you choose the right cruise line. Now, unfortunately, most cruise lines charge what's called a single supplement, which I think is some BS. That's a whole other topic. But some cruise lines, like Norwegian, tend to be a little more friendly to solo travelers. They have some single cabins that have no single supplement, but they are very limited. Norwegian offers these, they're studio cabins, and they're specifically designed for solo travelers. And they even have a designated lounge area just for solo cruisers to meet up. So do a little bit of research and pick a cruise line that caters to your needs. Tip number 2, join those online communities before you even set sail or step foot on that ship. Websites like Cruise Critic, and I personally love the Facebook groups, are great ways for solo cruisers to connect with other travelers, ask questions, or maybe even find a buddy to share excursions with. It's also just really nice to have a few familiar faces before you board the ship. If you're not familiar with these groups, almost all cruise itineraries have them. Now, they're not anything that's sponsored by the cruise line. Basically, it's a cruiser who booked that cruise. They want to meet other people. They take the lead in the initiative. They go on Facebook. They create a group. So what you want to do is you want to go on Facebook, you want to search your cruise ship name and the sailing date, and that's how you'll find it. I always recommend making a post in that group, sharing your photo if you feel comfortable doing that, and just introducing yourself, and maybe even putting a call out for other solo travelers to maybe see if they want to meet up at some point on the ship. Number 3, take advantage of the solo traveler meetups on board. If you don't want to arrange your own, sometimes the cruise lines will host meetups for solo travelers on that first or second day. Now, this is a great opportunity to meet other solo cruisers, maybe make some new friends and plan activities together. Don't be shy, it can be intimidating, but just go and introduce yourself. Now, it does get a little confusing because, like I noted at the start of this video, sometimes you're a solo cruiser, but you're not a single cruiser, and cruise lines might sponsor a singles meetup, but you're not single. Sometimes cruisers basically treat these like solo meetups. Tip number 4. Be smart about safety. Now, just like any other form of travel, it's important to stay aware of your surroundings. And I hate to say this, but ladies, it's particularly important for us to be cognizant of our safety when we're solo traveling. So follow good practices, keep your valuables secure, let someone know your plans for the day, even if it's someone back at home, and always use the ship safe to keep your important documents. And then be careful when you're out exploring ports alone. Of course, always stick to those well-populated areas that are touristy. Do not venture off the beaten path and try to avoid going out really late at night by yourself. Most cruise ports of calls require that you be back on the ship before too late anyway, so that's usually not much of an issue. Now, I'm not much of a fan of cruise line sponsored excursions, but in this case, it might be worthwhile. From a safety perspective, you're going to be put with a group of other people on your cruise ship, not a mishmash of other people from other cruise ships and maybe even locals, and the cruise line's going to kind of look out for you and make sure that you get where you need to go, and then you get back on the ship. Number 5, share your dining. Dining alone can be one of the biggest concerns for solo cruisers, but it doesn't have to be. And I tell you, after practice, you actually start to enjoy it. My favorite meals, honestly, a lot of times are by myself. And I now actually go out to eat by myself pretty often, even in the real world, not on a cruise ship. Now, it used to be part of cruise culture where they offered communal dining tables where cruisers would be put together with random strangers in the MDR during those meals. But that's kind of fallen out of favor in recent years, but it's still an option. So if you're traveling solo and you aspire to meet other people, I encourage you to let the host or hostess in the main dining room know you want to be seated with other cruisers, and they'll take care of that. Often on the cruise line apps, they'll even give you an option to check if you want to share a table, so just go ahead and check that little button. Then being put at a table together gives you an opportunity to meet other people without having to strike up a conversation with someone on your own. And if you prefer dining alone, do what I do. Bring an iPad or a good book and just use this time to do the things that you find enjoyable or relaxing. There's really no rule book here. Just do what feels good to you. Tip number 6, make the most of your solo time. Now, as I mentioned, what I love about cruising solo is you get to do exactly what you want and on your own terms. Take this time to pamper yourself at the spa, treat yourself to a yoga class, read a book by the pool, sleep in if you want, explore the ship's amenities, all on your own terms. This is your time. You don't have to answer to anybody, so enjoy it to the fullest. Number 7, participate in those cruise line sponsored activities. Cruise ships are packed with activities and events that are designed to bring people together. It can be something like a dance class, a trivia night, a cooking demonstration. Holland America does origami folding, which I personally love, and I encourage you, get involved. It's a great way to meet new people in a kind of natural environment where having conversations is just normal and organic, and have fun. Don't overthink it. My last bit of advice is to master those casino offers. Since cruising kind of punishes solo cruisers, which I do hate because of that single supplement, if you can figure out how to work the casino system where you get free cruise offers by playing in cruise ship casinos, you can cruise not only without a single supplement, but you can cruise completely for free. Well, mostly. You do have to pay port fees and taxes, but just for yourself. Now, of course, you do have to spend money in the casino. This is a whole other topic of how to do this. I have other videos about it, but that's personally how I sail solo. So there you have it, my top tips for solo cruisers.